All right. Sorry, guys. A couple minutes late here. Having some audio video issues. If you can hear me okay, let me know. If there's an echo, let me know. So we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube Eagle Run 23, and YouTube Eagle Reloads, which is awesome. Super excited to have that all on. Okay, so tonight we are talking about the 8.6 Blackout. We have several things to reveal to you tonight, and this is mostly going to be focused on 8.6 Blackout reloading, but as a bonus, I have 3 things to show you that you have not seen. In addition to that, my special guest tonight, his name is Nate, and he's going to be sharing some of his reloading stuff with us. And he also has an exclusive unboxing for you. So at least that's what he said earlier. I haven't asked him here in the last couple minutes, but he said he was having an unboxing for us too. So we'll get started off. I'm going to bring him on. I'm going to ask him a couple of questions. We're going to talk about reloading and how he got into shooting and all that fun stuff. Quick reminder that tonight's stream is brought to you by a Texas Parks Outlet coffee. So it's texasparksoutlet.com. Grab yourself some coffee. And let's introduce Nate. There he is. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? It's so good to be on here.
All right. Hey, we got Hootie Who in the house. Have you ever seen his channel?
Yes, actually. You do need an 8.6 Blackout, that's for sure.
He needs one. In fact, he tried to convince me to send him my upper.
Oh, man.
So I would actually do that for him. But I can't do it right now, but I can do it soon because I have another upper. So,
nice.
Bending Ballistics is here. MC is here. Eagle Eye Shooting. Do you know Eagle Eye Shooting?
I've watched his channel as well because he does 6 arc. Is that right?
He does all sorts of stuff. He is a guru gunsmith guy. Has all the tricks. He was fooling with a lot of like 6 arc, and he's done a lot. He has a lot of videos on YouTube about blackout and making brass, stuff like that. We should get him on here as well. Daniel Pogue is here. Stephen Doe. I don't know if I know Stephen.
So while you're introducing people, I got to run grab one more thing off my bench.
Okay. I hope that all of our comments are coming to one spot. So if you're watching on Facebook, will you say Facebook? And if you're watching on Reloads, will you say Eagle Reloads? And if you're watching on Eagle Run 23, the main channel, will you hit Eagle Run 23? All right. Drinking a Michelob Ultra tonight. Okay. Let's get started here. I'm going to show you, while we're waiting on Nate here, I'm going to show you the thing that came in. We're going to lead off with a home run here, okay? Are you ready for this? This, it's so small. Look. Those of you that are familiar, this is exactly 8 inches. 8-inch, 8.6 Blackout barrel. And this is the start of something special that's going to be our sub gun. So we're going to have a 16-inch super gun and an 8-inch sub gun. Super excited about that. Can't really do too much with that because I don't have my suppressor. It is still in NFA jail for a little while longer. So yeah. Okay, so it looks like we got some people everywhere on Eagle Run. Nobody has chimed in on Facebook yet, so I don't really have much of a following on Facebook, so it wouldn't be uncommon for what is up with your mouse fart load? Eagle Run 23. So I have not been doing any subsonic stuff. I have Gorilla subsonic bullets for 8.6 Blackout, and I have discrete ballistics, 300 grainers in subs for that gun, but I do not have supers, and so I don't really want to shoot subs unsuppressed out of a 16-inch barrel. It seems like a waste of ammo. Now, I did shoot like 40, and that's where I have my Q brass from. So, been trying to find a pistol handguard for LR308. Any recommendations? So, I've been on this track as well, and Nate, he's saying Eagle Eye's saying he's been trying to get a handguard recommendation for LR308. So now he knows all about stuff, but those of you that don't know, Wild Wild West is the 308. You've got an inverse focus going. Your background is crystal clear and you went blurry. We got Sasquatch on live here.
Let's try this again.
So I am trying to poke. I want our tuck. I want to tuck my barrels so my suppressor can be underneath the handguard. So I've been looking at Yankee Hill Machine because they've got a 1.75 inch inside, and that would fit my 1.6 suppressor. Although I know that's just going to heat up and be really hot anyway. I know that, but I think it looks cool. So I've been looking at, Arrow, of course. I'm kind of over the Arrow handguards. I want something more unique. So I've been looking at Yankee Hill. Gosh, who was the other one I was looking at the other day? Odin Works. I really like the Odin Works one. Yeah. Right. Okay. Your supers are slow. I'm pushing 2. Yeah, my supers are too slow, Stephen. And we'll talk a little bit about that. I've got a range report to share with you. Some of you kind of know what's going on based on. I almost machined an Arrow handguard. Yeah, exactly. Are you trying to tuck your suppressor as well, or tuck? Yeah, tuck the suppressor. Poke the. Yeah, okay. Bending Ballistics is on me like wild to get Arca Swiss, and here is my official policy. Nate, are you out of the stream?
Oh, yeah, man. I think my video stopped. That's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro.
No problem. I went blurry and it was talking. Over. No, I'm back, so this is good. I'm gonna have to turn off my background.
He's trying to get me to get an Arca Swiss. You got some Arca?
We do.
So my policy officially is I'm waiting to do Arca. Oh no, it's gonna fall. I'm waiting to do Arca on new stuff only. I'm not gonna retrofit any of my old stuff with Arca. Okay, MC says you are crystal clear now.
Oh, good.
Okay, so why don't you chime in with me on this? Because, Stephen, you might have missed what he said earlier. He said, my supers are too slow, which I know because I'm going slow and I'm going up in powder. 1900, he's pushing 225s to 1900 out of a 12-inch barrel, which is awesome.
So I'm going to just preface that I'm not an expert. I'm just another average Joe. And my math is really bad. Even though I work in computers during the day, the computer does the math work. So when I started looking at these numbers, and if you do the rotational calculation on a 1 in 3 twist, by the time you hit 2000 FPS, you're spinning almost 450,000 RPM.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the theoretical limit is of spin, but if you're not using those coppers, they won't stay together. So I don't know if you can really push them past that. 2000 is the target I'm shooting for.
So, Stephen, question to you: what are you trying to get to? And then right down here, he says he's running a 225 Hornady CX. Now, did someone say they had trouble with that CX load, with that CX bullet? I feel like someone said something about that. Interesting. I missed Hootie Hoo on your shoutouts. No, we talked about him being on. Yeah. I was super excited to see him. He's a really good dude, and he's got a big YouTube channel. Here is a subload that kicks 270 ELDX, 17 grains of CFE. Okay.
So I did just send you those 270 ELDXs.
Got them right over here.
That's that big box. So if you want to try those.
Okay, so you also sent me some ideas for CFE BLK.
Oh, yes.
Some starting points.
Hey, Stephen, I'm copying your load data because I'm working up there.
So let's get a quick disclaimer in here. Anyone who's sharing load data, you know, you're going to have to use some of your own knowledge and experience. And if you don't know, don't do it. I don't want anyone shooting anything that they saw here and thinking that it was tested for their situation. This is uncharted new territory for this round, and nobody knows. And people are saying, I heard guys on some of the Facebook groups just saying out, I ran this much. Well, it turns out 5 comments later, you realize how long their barrel is, or how heavy their bullets are. Is like, that is not applicable for everyone. So Stephen is happy with his supers.
Oh, good. With this twist rate, it looks like even Gorilla, they have 3 different ammos, 1 for each barrel length. So the 8, 12, and 16 inch. So if they're selling ammo that way, definitely do some of the calculations, look at the official data, and always work into a load. If you're trying to do subs, work down. If you're trying to do supers, work up.
Yeah, just be smart. So again, Eagle Eye knows his stuff. He says 250 grain, soft point 1900. Are we thinking that 1900 is just as fast as that heavy of a bullet's going to go? I guess is what it sounds like.
Eagle Eye, what kind of pressures do you think you're getting out of that? Because you said it's a bolt gun. I know Nick and I are running gas guns, so we've got the 60,000 PSI to worry about.
Expansion tests, all of those videos of guys shooting ballistic gel out at yardage is just amazing. So he's correct. I bought CFE BLK on his speculation that was going to be the powder that they chose. I feel like this AA 1680 came out of nowhere, but I don't really know my stuff to be saying that. But Midway has seconds. Yeah, I think that Nate has those.
Yep. I've got my 1,000. So I don't know if you want me to do an introduction. Maybe that'll lead into some
we kind of skipped over that. We lost your camera and kept going. Yeah. So why don't you? We're going to come back to this here, Eagle Eye, because this is serious stuff about jacking up your suppressors and things like that. Okay, so hang on. We're gonna come right back to this stuff here, guys. Okay, so this is Nate. Nate is a reloading buddy of mine. I met him on YouTube in the comments. We started emailing back and forth. And then we started talking, and then he shared with me some really cool load data from his, what's your fancy program called?
Quick Load. I purchased Quick Load a few months ago.
And
we're playing around.
This is Nate, and I'll let you go, Nate.
Oh, okay. Hey, thanks for the introduction. Yeah, I just have been really interested in the 8.6 Blackout ever since I discovered it. I have a 300 Blackout pistol that is so much fun to shoot, but I wanted a little more oomph. And when I saw this come out, so I guess I better back up, tell my gun story. So
yeah,
I tell everybody that, I was one of those kids whose dad loved to hunt. So he bought me a 30-06. I was under $120 in weight, 11, 12 years old, and he had me start shooting this thing, shooting 180 grain in a 30-06. And it beat the crud out of me. So I hated shooting. 22s, yeah, but I don't know, I hated it. And it took until just around the pandemic and me turning 45 to realize, maybe things have changed. And I started seeing YouTube videos on the 6.5 Creedmoor. And of course, I was really late to the game. That was the first rifle I purchased, was a Ruger precision rifle 6.5 Creedmoor. And it was a joy to shoot. Oh, yeah. It was more accurate than I still am. So it outshoots me, and it's heavy, so you don't feel any of the recoil. So I started with that to late 2000s, fall of 2000. And then, of course, right around then, ammo was hard to find. I thought maybe I would try reloading, so I grabbed some of the powders that were left on the shelves and ended up practicing reloading with it. I started with Superformance and what were they? 147 ELD match. And then trying to source materials was hard. Where I was at, luckily, I don't know how to say the name. I call it Celia and Bellet. But just that S&B ammo, they had the tactical ammo, 140 grains, and it worked decent in my gun. I could get 1.5 inch groups with it. That's decent. And so I shot up a couple hundred rounds of that, reused the brass, and I really thought the brass was good. I have 8 loads on a lot of that brass. But yeah, and I had 1 box of Burger, which of course then gives you Lapua brass. So I had 20 rounds of that, and I had 1 box of Hornady. So anyways, I was running this. I told myself I'd never get into the AR game because I thought it was too much hype. And on Palmetto State Armory, they had a 6.5 Creedmoor, their PA, what is it, 6.5, based on their PA-10 platform.
Yes.
And I read a couple of comments saying that the AR-10 platform is not as finalized a spec as the AR-15, so components aren't interchangeable. And so I way overspent. Yeah, I way overspent and picked up the lower, and a couple weeks later picked up the upper. And I never liked shooting it for the 6.5. It had a lot of recoil. It didn't have an adjustable gas block. I since changed that out. And it was mangling all my brass. So some of them, it was tearing it as it was going into the chamber, and some it was just like mushing it on the way out. So it might have been overgassed. Anyhow, got a little more into reloading, picked up some gear, and I decided I wanted to do PRS. So I signed up for 2 or 3 PRS matches and took my 6.5 Creedmoor. And it was a blast. I recommend anybody that wants to meet other people in the shooting sport, take a look at one of those, or the NLR 22, any of those types of matches. It seems like when you're new, everybody's really friendly and helpful. Yeah. And then once you've been there a while and you graduate into the senior club, there's hundreds of people all fighting for that perfection in their game. Even but I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I learned a lot of things. Everyone was willing to like give me tips or what to do to improve what I was doing. I even asked some reloading tips, and they gave me tools to look into. And then for whatever reason, I saw the 6 arc, and I'm like, well, okay, that's a pretty cool round. I'm sure I saw some Eagle Eyes videos while I was watching around there. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to try the AR-15 platform. And I really like 6 arc, and I couldn't justify myself making a 6 arc bolt gun. I don't remember what my reasons were. And so anyways, it got me to the AR-15 platform, and I'm so glad it did, because it's like, I call it big boy Legos. It's like, oh yeah, hey, I like this handguard. I really like the F1 firearms look, but they're pretty spendy. I noticed they had some AR-10 handguards just a minute ago. Anyways, so I got into it, and now I have close to a dozen different ones. And I have a buddy that wants me to put one together, a couple for him. Anyways, that led me to the 8.6 Blackout. I'm like, what do I do with this AR-10 that I've got laying around? And it's like, oh, it's just a barrel swap. It's kind of like 300 Blackouts. So I bought the 12-inch barrel, threw it on there. It went on fine, because I guess at least that barrel spec is standard.
Yes.
But I did not get the headspace gauges, and I wish I had for the $100, or at least had somebody close by that had one. Yeah. And I ended up having headspace issues. But that PA-10, the spring was so powerful that it would slam the bullets in and literally compress the rounds in the chamber. And so I would go up and I would shoot around, and I'd have to manually extract it with some effort. Well, I shot my first 18 rounds.
Got yourself in some trouble.
And number 18, I'm like, okay, I only got 3 more. This is going kind of bad. I'll fix it when I get home. And I either didn't land all the way home, or, oh, Eagle Eye, you're getting me distracted. That's some good advice there. I just got the 108 Hornadies to play around with. So anyways, hammered it in. I don't know if whatever happened, I shot it and it didn't sound right. So I knew I was going to shut down immediately. There were some people watching next sitting next to me just in case I blew up my gun. And they were laughing the whole time. It was really funny. Yeah. I'm like, hey, at least it's videoed. So anyways, it slammed home, didn't shoot right. I couldn't get the bolt back. And so I went home and I looked up, how do you extract this? And people talked about mortaring it. And I never thought I could hit a gun so hard on the ground and have it not break. So I'm just whacking it. And then finally I gave up. I'm like, I'm going to try my local gunsmith. He was a good guy, but he didn't want to touch my stuff because I had done the work on it. So he threw it in some, he threw it in some Croil to see if he could dissolve anything. And then he tried tapping it back out with a rod. And I guess he's between him and me, we whacked on it so hard that when I did finally get it apart, I don't dare get my camera to focus because then it won't go back. Anyways, totally destroyed my brass, ripped the case head. Let's do the backfire guide thing. There we go. So you can see the sides of my case head ripped off because it had double extractors on the bolt. Yeah, so I took it home and I'm like, I don't think anybody's going to do this. So I'm going to just grab the 5-pound sledgehammer and start whacking. So I locked my upper in my vise.
Oh, I did. And you sacrificed the upper.
I did. So actually, no, I locked my barrel in the vise because I have plastic vice grips for the barrel.
Okay.
And I started tapping right here and it didn't do anything. So I had to whack it pretty good. And I could see down inside because you've got the head and the chamber of the barrel where they meet up. I could see it rotating. But every time I hit it, it didn't seem to go enough. So I ended up twisting it up. Anyways, at the very end, I got it lined up, whacked it upwards, and sacrificed the whole upper. Ended up cracking my threads up here. Man. Just because I didn't know what I was doing. If I were to do it again, I'm pretty sure it could salvage the upper. But the learning experience for me was worth it. Now. And then I bought Arrow upper, and it did not match my lower.
Yeah, so that's DPMS high, DPMS low stuff, or is it the back of the? Let me see the back of that lower.
So the pins don't line up, and then the back is too far forward, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So what is this broken shell extractor?
I didn't know what that was. I wondered if you would know what that was. I've never seen one or used one, and I'm also hoping I never need one.
So my shell is mostly intact is the problem. I'll have to go look that up.
Yeah, you have to have that to your...
Anyhow. Yeah, so that's why the brass I sent you is actually sized the way it is. Because I think my shoulder was actually like 5 thou, a little too far for my chamber. And anyways, I must have compressed the brass because of the hot chamber and the heavy spring on it and squished it in there. But I brought some tools to show you what I did to find it out. Most of these people are experts on here. But I really like your channel because you're kind of where I was like a month ago. And it's always good to talk to the person that learned it because they remember how they got there. So we tried the not a brass rod, but a wooden dowel, and whacked on it, gave it some pretty good force, and it didn't budge. It wouldn't rotate, so I couldn't get it past those.
Yeah, because your bolt was actually locked in at the time.
Mm-hmm. It was. Yeah. But yeah, so I highly recommend the Hornady headspace gauges.
Uh-huh.
The one I use, I don't know the right one to use for 8.6 Blackout. Maybe we're setting a standard here. That would be okay with me. But this one says E420 on it. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. I can't see it, and I can't move the right direction. But there's also an E370. But the 420 hits farther down on the shoulder. So I'll go ahead and just line it up, tighten it up. And then what you're going to do is you just slide it in there. You can see where it hits on the shoulder. And push it in. And if I actually turn this around, you can see 1.326 inches. And I think that's because my brass is off center just a titch. But yeah,
Oh,
I
look at
pushed
this
that back
comment.
about 5,000. Pilot style. Drill out the back of the case. So I couldn't get to the back of the. Oh, so you drill it out through the barrel?
Oh, he's talking about getting your case out. I
Yeah, I
figured
couldn't
he'd
get.
have a trick for you.
My BCG was locked in there. I couldn't get it to move.
Okay, and then look at this one here. He says you need the
Oh.
C375.
Okay,
Was that the other one you
because
thought?
yeah, so he's measuring on the front of the shoulder, and I'm pushing back to the back.
Gotcha.
And I'm sure that has to do with like spring back. So yeah, the other one's going to hit a little farther up or the center. That would be good. I'll grab my 375, and if I reference any links, that way we're all talking the same number.
A datum dial.
Oh,
Totally worth the money. Nighthawk 6, what's up, man? See him every once in a while. You want to measure, here you go. You want to measure at the start of the shoulder. Okay, so
I have a funny one to show
Steven,
you.
do you think, Steven, that is why when I put these puppies in and tried to shoot them at the range the other day, failure to fire on these. And I think that my cases are too long. I think my bolt wasn't all the way in. That's what I think. And I think my shoulder needs to go back a little more. I'm going to have to measure these. I just got these out. I have not measured them. So, and I don't have a comparator or I don't have that headspace. What was that called? The Hornady
headspace comparator. This is the cheap way to go.
Comparator. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
We were also trying to figure out how to push that back. I know I just have the lead eyes. I didn't get any of the expensive ones yet. On mine, even when I have it set to cam over when the press engages the die, I don't know how to get it any further if it's not short enough. So any ideas on how to adjust that?
Ballistics. Eagle Eye is my, as far as I know, Eagle Eye is my, he would be my top source. I've emailed him a couple times. He's pretty much expert status. Okay, so let's go back here to Steven. He's still talking about shoulders. Okay, your shoulder there is way too long, and you could see from the video that you had two shells next to each other. You're like, yeah, see, that's what I think too. So I guess that means that my dies are not set up right. But okay, Steven, but here's the problem with that. So this is original Q brass that I have reloaded probably 3 or 4 times, and it works just fine.
You probably know this, but every time you fire it, it will stretch a little bit.
Right. So what did not fire is that brand new Starline brass that I made. Oh. That's what didn't fire. So
I wonder if what happened to you happened to me as well, because my first reloading after I had resized them is when my shoulder was too far forward. When I ran them back through a second time on the next day, they seemed to come in line with the right head spacing. I wonder if I wasn't holding it long enough and had too much spring back.
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. I'm going to have to play with it. Okay, he could see. Oh, man. Okay, so he could see from my video. Okay, well, Steven's showing off here. Because that was not good view. Because I had one shell in front of the other, and like there was no way. I annealed the crap
experts can do.
Well, I mean, if he knows his stuff, I'm sure he can see it. If you know, you know, right? I kept changing.
So if you over anneal and you go too fast, you get a 6.5 blackout like this, where it punches the head down in. It no longer looks like this.
Okay, so annealed the crap out of the sample case and kept the charging case until it formed to the chamber. Oh, okay. Okay, great. I love that we're sharing all this information, because when I go log on to that Facebook group, you can't get the whole story until you read all the comments. And I want there to be a better source of this. Okay, can you do a chamber fit check or or too much
That's
rifle mainly pistol?
I was going to mention, I did notice that. I did a chamber fit before I tried loading my second batch on my new arrow upper. And I don't know if you know how to do that, Nick, but you can take a resized piece. So this is my small rifle, Peterson brass, 6.5 Creedmoor that I resized.
You said
it still needs to be trimmed. Yeah. But you can take this before you have it primed or whatnot and put it in the chamber and close the bolt and see if it engages all the way.
Right here.
Hey. Or if you have your barrel pulled out and your bolt.
That's the 8-inch.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so you're saying I can still, I'll just, yeah. And see, I did this. Okay.
Now you have to have your BCG as well, or your head at least, your bolt head.
Right. Okay, I don't have.
And you should be able to push that, or lightly push it in and turn.
Yeah.
It should cam over.
Well, I did that. I thought, I did it.
Correct us if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we got here. You showed us an 8-inch. You just showed us an 8-inch no-go cage. All right. So you can't buy. There's no. What is it? There's no like case gauges for this caliber. So you have to buy a $300 barrel for a case gauge.
Yeah.
Your dies are too high for your initial reshape. Okay, I think I agree with you at this point. I'm gonna investigate here. Okay,
you do need an annealer.
Always telling me all the stuff I need.
So I use the annealings. I've heard any kind of annealing is better than no annealing, and since I didn't want to invest in the amp yet, I've liked it. It works for what I need. I'm not going for top tier precision yet.
Okay, so I thought this is true, and I guess I thought I could still shoot it. I knew I needed to get it once fired, but okay, you'll have misfires if the shoulders push too far. Okay, that sounds like everyone agrees that I did it incorrectly. Names are just being tossed around. Legal names. I don't know what that means. Okay, keep a reference of brass from the cue. All the dimensions are right. Not exactly your chamber fire. Okay, okay. I'm doing that. And while we're talking, why he said Q brass. Okay, I don't like the Q brass. Okay, I don't like the Q brass. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's very soft compared to the Creedmoor cases that I have experience with. The S&B, the Federal, all the stuff I'm reloading, tons of Hornady. And allegedly this stuff was made by Hornady, but I think it's kind of soft. I mean, if you just touch the neck of it, that thing just crumples. All of these, I mean, some of these have damage on them just from getting flung out of my gun.
Do you have any of the original left, or is it all fired?
I mean, I have 100 or so rounds that have not been fired. That's for a sub gun. So
those would definitely be good for reference.
Yeah. Okay. So where were we? Oh, E-Rock is here. What's up, buddy? Virgin converted brass. Okay.
Oh,
this is something that I did not know. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Did not know that. All right.
That makes sense.
Okay. All right. Check out Mason Reamer if you need headspace. Go. Okay. All right.
Axon had some with the original barrel, but they sold out really quick.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Eagle eye. Good advice.
Okay. All right. We got the expert here. Two. You show cross shape inside your bolt. Bolt removed from the BCG with a resized case. It should not rotate in your barrel extension. One piece should be snug and may rotate. So this is like that's like engine building tricks right there with your little wax. Okay.
DIY headspace gauge.
I like it.
No, I didn't measure seating
depth of the primers. Okay, so Bending Ballistics said this to me today. Now, all I know about how it's supposed to be down in there is it's supposed to be below flush. Right? Is that it? Below flush. And I'm reloading on the Dillon, and you push the arm forward, and it seats the primer. That's all I know about that. I don't know how to make it go any deeper or shallower. I got to hand prime these things. Come on. Seating depth. Okay, roughly.
Oh,
All right, we're getting behind here on the comments. We got some great comments tonight. Okay, 2 pieces roughly 46. Okay, that's amazing. That's an A+ comment there. Eagle Eye Shooting. Oh, he called me. But he did call me by my first name.
Sorry, dude.
I think I told you the other day. I used to be more concerned about that, but the more and more I do this, the less and less. I didn't even show my face until we started doing live streams like 6-8 months ago. Yeah. I got around 6 to 8 firings from the Q grad before the primer pockets straight. Oh, good for you to get that many. So you must have got a good batch early from Gorilla or something, because just the Q brass hasn't been available. His primers were seated. See, he thought based on the video, he thought my primers were too deep. So, all right,
guess that would mean missed fire or strikes from your firing pin.
So on this gun, block. I fooled with this, and I've got it to where it just locks back, and I want to click more. I'm dialed, I feel like, on that. JP's in the house. Mangled cases are overgassing. But you're saying I can't just blame the crappy Q brass. Allegedly crappy Q. Okay, so
I'll show you another thing that I just got for reloading. I want to hear the opinions on these. So I found these primer pocket gauges. This one's for small rifle primer, but it has a go and a no-go. So if your no-go goes in, well, anyways, make sure that your primer pockets are still tight enough to hold your primers. I learned the hard way after 8 or 9 reloads that they wear out.
Okay, so I'm going to measure how deep that primer is in there. This is the only way I know how to do it. I'm going off the bottom, and I'm at, can you read it? There we go.
12 thousandths.
But what did he say?
2 thousandths.
Well, those numbers aren't even close, Nighthawk. So how far is 0, 0, 0, 2? Oh, my primers are freaking way too deep then. Right? I can't even dial on here 0.02. It doesn't even stick out. Okay, well, primers are too deep. I don't know how to fix that on the machine.
Yeah, any suggestions on that one? I don't know about too deep. I wasn't seating them deep enough, and that causes issues too. When I first started. Venture hand primer. I do like my hand primer.
Fast on my Dylan.
Do you like shooting pistols?
I seat flush. I don't go below the location. Well, then mine are way too deep then. Use the backside. Okay, got you. That's what I did here. And what was I? 0.012. Yeah, which is, gosh, I don't even know what the math is on that, how much deeper I am than what he said. Way deeper. We'll just go with way deeper. Hey, get the blue. Hey, we're team blue here, man. I mean, Nate's not team blue, but that's all I know. Allegedly. Okay, your problem is you're using a Dylan. My man Lee will never let you down. Okay, look what's right here.
Hey,
this is a $49 Lee. I don't even know what it's called. It's a $49 Lee. I'm using that to do all the work when I'm not hanging on my Dylan when I'm. You can tighten the primer pockets with a chrome and a punch. What?
From inside the case?
So you squish it out?
I don't know
what that means.
I don't know. I was asking for clarification, so we'll see when the answer comes up.
This stream is called "Teach Me How to Reload."
Yeah.
Teach me what I don't know.
These gauges. Does anybody use these?
I have those, but they just don't have 8.6 yet.
Yeah, this is my 6 arc one. But
Yeah. Are they L.E. Wilson?
These ones are Hornady.
Okay, I have some L.E. Wilsons. Creed Moore.
I'll get rich. I'll get those.
I need a Grindle one. We're going to be doing some Grindle soon. You can. Okay, let's see what he says here. You can. What is that? The one I just had? Oh, that's the one I just had. Okay, what does this one say? Oh, dang, I'm way behind on comments again. You can switch your primer pockets if you're concerned about primer pockets being too loose. Okay.
Doesn't that expand them instead of shrinking?
I thought that is like the crimp cutter stuff. Yep, you're too deep. Yeah, thanks, Nighthawk. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know how I did that so poorly.
I have the Frankfurt Arsenal hand primer, and I do enjoy it. Then I can sit in front of the TV with the family and just make sure to point it away from anybody or anything.
Your whole family's got eye protection on. It's great.
Dad, I can't see the movie.
Oh, you're measuring the pocket. The O2 is the top of the primer.
No, that one had a primer, didn't it?
It did have a primer in it, man.
Yeah. I just barely saw that.
So. Yeah.
Oh, we got a Team Hornady. That one's really deep. Oh my goodness.
The one I just showed?
Yeah, it's got a shadow.
That's the one I was measuring. It's so deep, it's got a shadow.
Wow.
Okay, well, I didn't even know that was a thing. Okay, on pistol, I usually see primer depth up to 2 cycles on the deal, and I never had a problem. But pistol, maybe I'm just, I'm a big guy. Maybe I'm just hanging on that thing too much. Okay, yeah, he's Team Hornady. I think he actually has Corpo Hornady sponsorship. Dylan can be adjusted. All right, I'm writing that down because I need to know how to do that. All right. Okay, I don't know how to adjust that, but we're going to figure that out. Punch the inside case on the primer and the chrome and the bearing. Oh, here's back to what you were saying earlier. Okay, did you already see this? In the case, while the primer still sets on the chrome bearing, and then.
So before you punch the used primer out, he's saying put something in the top. And then it's going to push the inside down, and because you have the primer still in there, it's going to stop when the primer hits the surface of your table.
Okay, great. That makes sense.
I think. And he can correct us here in a couple more comments.
He can post a video on his YouTube channel and show us.
So, since we like telling fun stories, and you guys, I'm going to give you permission to make fun of me. I've done this to tube dies. You know, there's just that one piece of brass. You're like, I got enough lube from last time. I can do one. And then you rip your case heads off. Don't ever skimp on the lube.
Allegedly, they make all sorts of ways to get that out, but I'm hoping I never have to deal with that, or let's wait till I have some more experience.
So with the Lee, the problem is my anyways, I punched it down through the case, the primer tool remover.
Oh my.
And so I can't get this out to use the tool to pop it out. I've got the tools.
Did you, man, that you were on that one. Okay. Steve.
You know it's bad when you're like, oh, that was just too much, and it pops.
All right, case gauges are a waste if you get your chamber dimensions and bump your shoulder. I agree. I feel like sometimes I want a visual inspection, especially since I'm kind of new, and when I start a new caliber, I feel like having a case gauge is realistically, I don't use my 9mm case gauge anymore. I've made thousands and thousands of those, and it feels right. Send it. Never had a problem since I figured out how to do it. So, but you're right, Stephen. Frankfurt Arsenal hand primer has seating just adjustment. Okay, I have seen that. Johnny's Reloading Bench talked about that when I was. Yeah, he's got one and showed how it worked. You have to press hard. Well, James, I think I pressed too hard.
I like the next three comments.
Very strong. Going deep. What's he say? I'm here in Texas. Nighthawk, I'm in Texas. Let's go. Okay. So I have popped out primers before, and nothing's exploded on me yet. So it looks like I'm going to, guessing don't. I'm not going to do it live on the stream, but because that way I can.
I think he
deny
means
that
live
it
primers. Yeah. Oh, I was scared the first time I had to do that. I'm like, I had one go in sideways. I was freaking out that it was going to blow up. And after that, I'm like, maybe I'm just a little too scared of this stuff. As long as you're cautious, take your time.
for pistol. Oh, and shotgun. He's a shotgun reloader. Okay, so what else we got here? There should be an award for anyone who sees the
Never at home.
Maybe I didn't even know that was cool, guys. Wait a second. Is every?
I'm impressed. I'm new, and I yeah.
You said there's a shadow.
Like I'm sitting here. Am I going to set off the primer when I'm pushing it in? And no, I guess not.
See, all of them are that deep.
Is the middle one more deep than the others?
All of them are that deep. Okay, well, I'm going to learn how to use a bullet puller. I got one of those. Don't do the punch. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm priming for oil, boys. It's fine. It's all good.
Just keep squeezing.
The primer pockets will rack around the bearing and punch. Depends on how bad the primer pocket is distorted. So, yeah. So there's some variance to that, I guess. MCK is here. What's up, buddy? Okay, look at Stephen Doe. Back to 8.6 Blackout. The H110 gave me the worst clips I've ever shot.
Oh,
I just bought a bottle of that. Thanks, buddy.
and me too.
You're using it for subs, I think. I think that's what he said. I friended AP 2020 on Facebook, and he didn't friend me back. I would love to have him on, but so Shh, James.
I was being nice and said he fell asleep at the press.
Live on the edge.
Yeah.
Priming live primers live on YouTube. No big deal. Okay. I actually have punched out live primers before. It didn't worry me too much here. Okay. Yeah. MCK is here. What's up, buddy? I called the primer. What do you say? I called the primer way too. He's called it. He called the CFE BLK. He called the primer too deep. And then who was it? It was who was it that said they could tell my neck was 5,000th off from the video? You guys are awesome.
Impressive.
Primer abuse.
Oh man. So is anybody else using small rifle primers? I know I did my first test of 20 and I'm using the CCI 41s and it didn't seem to be any different than the large rifle I used. I figured the case space is so low, it's less than 6.5 Creedmoor. And I have lots and lots of small rifle. I can't find large rifle. Just can't anneal brass with light primers from experience.
Okay, yeah. So he shot a big old 350 maker. You and I were looking at those online the other night. With the H110, it's junk in my rifle.
Just not stabilized, or doesn't?
I think. Okay, so I think the Nito with AP 2020. I think he said though H110 had some pretty wild standard deviations on his test.
I was looking at. I was looking at 110 for 300 Blackout and ran across a really old post on probably Sniper's Hide or one of those. And they were saying H110 has some of the worst issues with capacity. So as you start getting away from 90% capacity, your variations just go crazy. So I wasn't going to try that one in 8.6 Blackout. That's what I read. Now, I don't know if anybody else has anything to back that up.
So that just has to do with how the powder expands in that volume of space. That's what that means, right?
Sure. Here we go. Oh, this was Smith & Wesson one. H110 is one of the powders that will increase in pressure if the load is too light. That's the quote I copied.
So I've heard about like the reloading handle coming back up and hitting people in the face if they've got it stuck on different stuff and it breaks. I've heard about all sorts of wildness getting knocked out with your reloading press. And you're knocking yourself out.
So was that a press or was that the hammer? Because I have the hammer, and you got to whack that pretty good.
Oh, he's talking about the kinetic bullet puller. Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Likes to be 80 to 90% case fill for 110. Thanks, Eagle Eye.
So that means that you're going to be a little boxed in on what you find bullet weight wise, basically. So you need to go to that 90-95 and hope that that fits within your pressures and velocities based on what your weight bullet is. Okay, well, I guess you just work backwards then with a known quantity of I need 90-95% case fill. Huh. Okay.
That's cool. So powders I'm on my list to try. I've used the 1680 and I went anywhere from 16 grains up to 26 and didn't have any pressure signs. I didn't push it beyond that. I want to try IMR 8208 XBR because an old timer introduced me to it for 20 practical, which is basically a 223 resized down to 20 caliber. And it's pretty consistent. It was in quick load, it shows as one of the powders that could be used to get it for supers, is what I was looking at it for. So that was one. I'm also.
I wonder if Eagle Eye has experimented.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm throwing him out here.
I wonder if he's experimented with that. What did he say about that? He said
those two
as far as supers. So what was the
no on the 82? So Nighthawk, the next comment. Yeah, it's
IMR
8208 XBR. So there's 8208, which is an old powder, and the XBR is a little more modern. Is that the same thing, Nighthawk?
Ooh, I'd be interested to see what Eagle Eye and Nighthawk have to say about that.
Yeah, and then Stayball was another one, maybe 20 practical better for gas than because of shoulder. Yeah, I like my 20 practical bolt gun. That was the first gun I put together myself, and it shoots really good.
Oh, I forgot there was a difference in tactical and practical.
It's just really mild differences. You can use the same load data between them. It's just how the case, I think it's the shoulder is different. I did practical because that's what this old timer taught me. And I could get some redding dies and use redding bushing dies to neck it down rather than having to get a specialized 20 tactical die.
Okay.
They're both kind of an obscure cartridge. I notice a lot of the 20 tactical stuff is on clearance, like midway. Anyhow, it's a
MC yeah, I want to try a 225 grain bullet as well, but I just keep thinking I'm gonna have to go down. If I want 2100 feet per second, I'm gonna have to probably go down to like those 181s or those 189s. I would love, since I'm gonna have two guns, I would love to have a screamer and a sub gun. Like, I think why not? But if I could push 225 grains that fast, that'd be awesome too. Okay, so we have a comment here on this I use a lot of CFLB. Okay, here it is right here from Eagle Eye says the 8208 spikes fast.
Oh, okay. I will maybe not do that one, then I'll just save it for my 20 practical. And I also have some reloader 10X for that one. Oh, 41. Is that the IMR or the Hornady? Yep. IMR is a little hotter.
It's a good.
And then I do want to
supers and subs.
That's good. I want to jump back to that Steve Doe comment. He said he was getting 1980 FPS.
Oh, that was up. Okay, so Maker 220s. I'm finding 29.9 with a 270. Man, those 270s are what freaking fell out in my chamber. But I'm crimping better now, so hopefully that'll fix that problem. I'm getting 19 to 1980. Okay, so is that? I guess Nate, you and I were talking about this the other day. I'm hung up on 2,000 feet per second. Maybe I need to throw that out the window. Maybe I need to be happy with 1950, 1980. But I have not pushed yet to 29.9 grains. I'm showing my 210 grains to be in that 1900 to 1980 range. So maybe I just need to push to this. I want to go to 2930. I want to go there.
So, Steven, are you doing bolt or gas?
I forgot what he said he had.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the 82.8 information. That 20 tactical lever.
Yeah, there
that
is
20 caliber is fun to shoot.
I heard AP 2020 talking about Lil Gun one time. I heard him talking about that. Okay, did we already see this one? It's a good powder for both supers and subs. He says either one, Hodgdon or IMR.
Okay, good.
450 Bushmaster for Lil Gun. TTSX 225s and a 1230 12-inch barrel.
Getting some smack talk tonight.
I feel like I set myself up for it. I don't mind it. Like it's fine.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's fun.
If you're not taking flack, you're not over the target, right? So we're having a good time. You don't. Yeah, I don't crimp. I don't do Arca Swiss. I don't. Wait, but I can. No, bro.
Hey, so I might have sent you a box. Hey, sweet. And you have some to show. I sent him a couple trimmed cases.
I do. In fact, I have the chopper now. I can chop my
chopper's
own.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. He's always giving me a hard time. He'll text me and give me a hard time. He'll watch a video and text me to talk trash. I love it.
Game on.
Yeah, my 16 should be faster. You're right. Should be.
But you're on a bolt gun. Anybody know the pressure on that? Because I know
he's running a 12-inch.
And they say, okay. AR-10, they say keep it under 60,000 PSI. Unless you're not seeing pressure signs, then it's on you, right?
Okay, if anyone else has 8.6 Blackout they want to talk about, I would love to hear it. I showed you. You have a show and tell you want to do? You want to do an unboxing?
That one actually hasn't arrived yet. We can do that.
Oh, we thought it might arrive. Okay.
I know. I thought so.
Okay, so I showed my 8-inch barrel. There'll be a video on this coming up soon. I have actually two other things to show people, and these two things are not related to 8.6 Blackout. This one is related to the 6.5 Grendel build that we just finished the other night. And you mentioned earlier about Legos. My daughter came out here to get a LaCroix out of the fridge. And she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just building this gun." She's like, "Can I watch?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She sat out here with me for 40 minutes and she put the little springs in and we built the lower and we did all this stuff. I was talking to her about how all this stuff. And she's like, I'm like, "Hand me that, I need this." And she had a blast. And we built in 40 minutes, we built an entire 6.5 Grendel. But anyway, I needed a muzzle device for it. And in the comments, people said, just get the Odin Works one because it's an Odin barrel, Odin Works. So I got this thing, and this thing is really cool. It's a tunable. So you take the cap off. This is titanium. I can't get on camera. This is titanium. And then this is the muzzle device. And there's nothing to this. It's the same all the way around. But you index, and you can also drill out those holes. So they say start here, and then you drill those out a little bit more if you're getting muzzle rise. So they have a little gauge for you to say, hey, I'm going to do this. So this doesn't have to be indexed. So you just rip this guy on tight because it doesn't matter which way it's pointing. It's the same all the way around. This sleeve slides on, and you index it here, and then the cap goes on, and you tighten that cap down, and then there's set screws in the end. Isn't that a brilliant design? I just thought that was awesome. So $100. But if you go to, I can't say it, but if you go to this website right here, and you use AT3 Eagle Run 2.3, there's a discount for you. AT3 Eagle Run 2.3 discount, and I got this from them. And then the last thing here is, oh, it's backwards. Wait, no, it's right. There it is. So they just came out with this. It released on, wait, today's Thursday. It released today.
No way.
Yeah, it released today, and mine was delivered yesterday. And it is their own little shake awake $150 optic. It's a little prism red dot. Comes with a couple different base plates. So there'll be a review on this, and I don't actually have a gun to put it on. So
I don't have a gun. What about that little 8-inch?
So I bought some parts. So we have a whole new gun to make. Because when you get an optic and you don't have a gun for it,
yeah, just let it sit around. Right.
No, you build a gun for it.
Okay, so yeah, definitely interested in that Odinworks barrel thing on the end muzzle device. I bought the little bastard for my 6.5, and it has the top ports, and I really like that feature. But this is really neat how it indexes.
Yeah, you just drill those guys out. I'm excited about that because I've had, if you saw at the end of that 8.6 Blackout video when I was at the range, if you saw in that one, my muzzle device came loose and my groups opened up. So we're going to be doing some of this high temperature. This is the real stuff right here. You can get it on Amazon.
Just put a couple drops in that primer pocket. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not coming out. This is like high temp super glue or whatever.
That's good stuff.
They said make sure you're leaving that barrel device on whenever you put it on there. You're supposed to put that on when you do your suppressor, like quick adapters. You're supposed to use that stuff because those suppressors heat up, and if you don't want that quick connect coming off, use that, and then it's going to stay on better. So I got some. We'll try it out. So those are the three things I wanted to show off, was some toys, and we'll be talking about this. We have not shot the Grendel yet. We will be shooting it soon. I have not heard from Tracked Optics. I called into those guys, could not reach the guy I'm supposed to talk to, and so I'm just going to keep calling them, because at this point my persistence will break their resistance, and they're going to send me a optic, I hope. So
look forward to that.
All right, let's hop back over here and see what we missed. Oh man, I missed a lot of stuff, guys. You guys are awesome. I think there's people on Facebook now, which is great. Okay, so we left off here. You crimp, but you don't trim your cases. Finally got a trimmer. I did. Trying to gather parts. Okay, I've seen this guy in the comments before. He's building. I love people who are at this stage right here. I mean, I hate that you're collecting parts, because it kind of sucks that we can't find parts right now.
Yeah.
Shorter hand guards. So Eagle Eye was talking about hand guards earlier too. Wilson Combat, Yankee Hill Machine, F1 Firearms. What else has come up tonight?
Arrow. Well, they don't have shorter though, do they?
Arrow goes. I think they only have. Oh my gosh, what do they have? They have a 12 and a 15, I believe. Not shorter though. I mean, a 12. Yeah. If you think a 12 would dwarf that, I mean, but that might be the right amount of tuck I'm looking for. I don't know. I need to play with my measurements. Zinc bullets are great. Low cost means to fire form my brass. So I should probably fire form that first round stuff, I think is what Nighthawk means. I showed an 8-inch barrel.
So I got a question for you. Does anybody use these little flash cans?
Is that the CAC?
I think so. It was like a little $30 or $40 flash can.
They're cool looking, aren't they? I like them when they're kind of sticking out a little bit.
Yeah, I got it because I'm not sure I'm going to get a 338 suppressor. We'll see.
Oh, you're on the fence?
Well, I just barely got my first two. They finally came through. It's a 30 cal and a 22, and you know how that discussion goes. So I need another $1,200. And
you need to start uploading videos so then you can just say you're doing it for the video. That's been working at my house so far.
Hey, there you go. I'm all about contributing to others' work. This is fun, though. I do have to admit.
Bullets. What bullets? I watched what? What bullets are you gonna do, and how long a barrel are you going with? That's my question for you. Wait, where did? Oh, there we are. Okay. So gets muzzle device doesn't fit his can. Gets muzzle device doesn't fit his can. Great. Eagle barely replies my trash. I talked to him on the phone tonight, so it was suppressed. Okay, what? Okay, see the people. I posted this on the thing the other day because suppress what I guess I don't understand why you shoot suppressed if you're not shooting subsonic. That's really my question. What's the? I mean, you still have to wear hearing protection. So what are we doing? Why? I guess.
I've heard it's helpful if you're hunting, because usually you can get away with 1 or 2 shots without the hearing protection. I don't know.
Okay.
It is a little more pleasant for people around you. I know when you have these muzzle brakes. Yeah, my family doesn't like going with me because the muzzle brake just blasts them with whatever's coming out of the barrel. Sometimes it breaks off chunks of carbon. Just don't like it.
He needs to remind me. He mentioned that tonight too. So the Vibratite is the one that stays gummy, and I don't think it stays like. So am I wrong? Is that the right one? Yeah, Vibratite is the one that you would put like on optics and stuff because it's not like Loctite. It doesn't like harden. It stays gummy so you can adjust. I think.
Because I have blue and red Loctite. One of them's not permanent. The red, I think, is the one that takes heat.
The red's the feisty one.
Yeah.
$100 is half of a tax stamp. You can tell he hasn't gotten his first can yet. He's buying brakes. Yeah. My first can will be here in February or hopefully January. I don't know.
Let's see, I ordered mine middle of November last year, and I got it in August. So I look forward to next time.
I don't know how long ago this was. Sorry, Dale. Good night, brother. Thanks for popping in. Let's see, another newbie. That's great. Yeah, because he's out there looking for parts. That's really the exciting stage when you're like hunting down stuff and you're considering and you're Googling pictures and you're trying to get all the just trying to get like your what is my idea for what this gun is going to need, and then because I don't do my research very well, what I hear in the comments, and so you buy something that you shouldn't have bought because it doesn't fit with something else. So.
There's so many choices. Do you want a heavy gun? Do you want a light gun? Do you want it for precision? Do you want it for lots of rounds down the barrel? Just so many different ways to head down the building path.
So
milling down.
You're just gonna. You can do it with a sawzall. I'm cheap.
And file off those edges.
Yeah, so this thing right here though, it's why is that looks like the back of it. It does look like the back of the box. There we go.
I'll set up the goalpost for you.
It's
center it right here.
Right in the middle.
That's it.
I think with my discount, it's $110.
Oh.
And if it holds 0, what else do you want out of it? Not getting a TX22, at least at this point, until they make an 80% one, and then I'll make one. He likes the flash cans on his 22s. MC. Yes, I have a flash can on his Grendel. I know I'm late to the Grendel game, but I'm excited about it. 9 can will hold subs. So that's what I got was Primal. I did the Dead Air Primal.
So Eagle Eye, any opinions on Grendel versus Arc? Because they're the same brass. And they kind of almost have a lot of a very similar ballistics, if I recall, or at least kinetic energy downrange until you get way out there. Anyhow.
Well, before I became a wildcatter with the 8.6 Blackout, I chose Grendel because
yeah, there you
go. It was available. You could buy ammo for it back then. So he says whenever I get a can, I'm going to figure out real quick. So I think I can use that can on my Creedmoor. So maybe I'll do that for fun. Do that for a YouTube video. Give me an excuse to buy a thread adapter for it. I have an 18-inch barrel. I'm looking for a 300 grain range. Yeah, the heavy bullet. Good for you. I like that heavy. Suppressors are the best. Everyone shoots better with a suppressor. I know it can adjust your flash mitigation for non-suppressed loads. So, but is a suppressor, does it actually kind of hide the flash a little bit? I guess it probably would. Okay, here. I think this might be in an open field. Suppressors are suppressed supers are noticeable quite a bit. Some ride that by decibel. Okay, so if you're in an open field, you may not have to be suppressed. I mean, you might have to have ear protection as well. I guess what that means. Right. So closer to you.
Better for the ears.
He has a 6 Creedmoor that I've seen on his channel that he's putting half a dozen bullets in the same hole with. Thermal suppressors can measure 81 in the ear. Well, let's vote back in the hearing protection.
How long is your barrel on the thing?
I believe it's a long one. I think it's like 22 or 24 on his 6 Creedmoor. I think
so he's out there a ways in addition. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's what I noticed with my can. The first time I took it out there, I'm like, oh, why does America have this restricted so much? In the other country, you get it with your gun almost. But
and you got the guy next to you with the 308 pistol just friggin' laying down. I'm taking my kid and making noise a pair of next loaf. Yeah, there's always the guy next to you. Oh, a warranty.
Yay.
Yeah, I think he'd had a video. I think he did a short on that. MC makes some videos. He's up to like
that guy at the range. You're the guy that there's 12 seats and you sit right next to the guy that's there.
He's taking that Creedmoor. I want to do a shorty Creedmoor. I want to do like a 12 or a 14-inch Creedmoor. Cans are considered as an adult suppressor 15. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I feel like aren't you wearing out your can? Just the 6 ARC performs. I might need to mute myself here because I'm going to have to cough.
Well, that means I have to talk.
Grendel has more power out to 400 yards.
Okay.
But the 6 is deeper, better long range.
And we've already identified you like it deeper. With those primers.
Slam it home. And ARC is a wannabe Grendel. Oh, shots fired.
Ooh.
Since Eagle Run is a wildcatter, he's also one of the guys that calls the GT the gay tiger. He's one of those guys.
I was looking at that, and then I saw the 8.6 Blackout, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need a GT. I need something that throws big rocks.
Less intimidating for the little guys. My little guys shoot, because I have a 10-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son, and they both love shooting 22, and just maybe they would love it even more suppressed, but we shot without hearing protection 22 out on my property, and my little boy shot 30, 40 rounds out of our new bolt gun, and him and I both did it with no ears, and it wasn't loud at all. I mean, just in a field, you know.
Were you doing subs or supers? Because subs are even more quiet, funny enough.
So I bought them the primer only ones when I first shooting with the little Cricket, a little single action 22.
Yeah.
But they've all graduated to 1022s, and now we have this, I have a 30 zoom optic on their 22. I mean, it's massive.
How do they like it? So my 8-year-old, anytime because I have high zoom for me because I like it. He's always like, I can't see anything, and I have to put it down to 6 or 8 power before he'll shoot. Your kids like that high zoom?
So my daughter wants to be zoomed in all the way, but her brain works differently than most people's do. She's very smart and can figure out things. My little boy, I saw him like adjusting it on his own, just playing with it, and he doesn't really care too much about stuff. Like he's just fine with whatever. Aren't you wearing your can out? The 6mm arc of the pink mister on the Varmints and Coyotes. Yeah, because that's screaming 3,500 FPS.
I have some 58 VMAXs I want to load, and I have some 80 whatever that is. 6mm 284. Yeah, how much barrel life on that?
You get 10 shots. That's it.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. 6 arc. It seems to be the new 6 dasher this year. But I don't know. It's your hearing.
Yeah. I had subs in my Jeep when I was in high school. Parents, don't let your kids have subs in there. My hearing is not good. Plus, you can pin and weld a pistol, screw around a pistol brace SBR wrench. This needs to be a topic that we need to talk about. I've tried to do a couple videos on it, but it's just everything's changing so quickly, and there's always people who are covering this better than me. I'm not really set up to do like news covering stuff, but this SBR pistol brace thing is freaking frustrating as heck, because the word amnesty is really kind of makes me mad, because that means that if I'm getting amnesty from something, that means that I did something incorrect and it's being waived. I did not do anything. I have a pistol brace,
and eventually, yeah,
right. That's crap. I mean, that's just that word means something, and they put that in there on purpose.
Disappointed in what's going on there, because I started down the pistol route. What's this one? I saw his video. It's pretty cute little. It's pretty cute.
Cute is a good word.
If you want to stick AR-15 and jump up to 338, I guess you could go 350 or 450 Bushmaster. But
so I don't know where do these guys get these barrels for this?
Hand reamers, maybe.
You gotta have a custom set, because that AP 2020 has this thing going.
Arc. Yeah, okay. Oh man.
I'm actually working on
22 arc. Okay.
He means
I'm gonna have to look you up.
No,
it's gonna be both.
So he's
I was looking
out,
at 20. Yeah. I wanted to do 22 Creedmoor, and I have some bushing dies and all the bushings for it. But a 22 arc, that would be a blast.
So what would you do with that?
Well, see, he's shooting an 80 grain at almost 3,000 feet per second.
Yeah.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Same dope as your 6 Creedmoor, out to 700. But you could put it in a gas gun.
Yeah. I'm in. Gas gun gang for life.
Wow. Dang it. I wouldn't need another toy.
I would not be surprised if he has a video on that. He makes videos on all his projects.
4,000 rounds. Wow.
So have you? So I don't. If Eagle Eye Shooting, if you haven't seen his, like, he's got a full shop. Like, he makes custom guns for people, and he tests them, and he doesn't ship them to you until he's got them tuned. Like,
who is this?
This is Eagle Eye.
Or who has the gun shop? Eagle Eye does.
He does. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
he's gonna say it looks like it with all those awesome work he's doing.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's got an amazing channel. I did not. So my buddy Echo from Echo's Reloading Chamber, he brought me in and helped me out with reloading stuff and YouTube stuff back, I don't know, a year ago. And I was on a stream with Eagle Eye. I didn't know who he was. And then like a couple weeks later, I'm watching some videos and I'm like, that's the guy. Like, I would have been a little more of a fanboy had I known when I was on the stream with it. Just break the law. I don't fool around with ATF stuff. Like, I don't
I
fool around
like my
at all.
job. I like walking
Yes.
around on the street.
And I wish I was more of a renegade with some of that stuff, but I just I can't. I got a beautiful dog, and
Catheter gas. Ooh, I can imagine.
10
I've
out of
heard
10.
people have loading issues with it with their bolt gun. I can't imagine what you're getting a guess. A lot less recoil. There's
Oh,
no
DMR
recoil with
speed.
6 arc. Oh, okay.
It's less. Less than 0.
Oh man. It reminds me. So I go shooting with my 8-year-old, and he likes his 22, and he'll shoot my Ruger precision rifle and 6.5 Creed because it doesn't kick. So every time I introduce him to a new gun, he's like, "How much does this kick?" And he'll like punch me in the shoulder.
You say you get to punch me as hard as it punched you, and then
Right.
you get revenge.
Yep. So I'm trying to imagine what that would feel like. Okay, well, this is a 6 arc, and this is a 22 arc. How do I describe that to him?
All right. Get a degree in explosives. People who say they're a nobody are never a nobody.
Exactly. We've seen the videos. Weren't you the one that said it was 5 microns off on early on the cases?
He could tell from across the country watching my video that my primers were too deep. Oh, that was Steven.
That's right.
Yeah.
55 green. Wow.
Did I miss one?
I don't know. I'm watching lots of different things.
If you get the 55 Emax about 4,000 feet per second, but I only push them.
Is that in your 6mm 284, or is that in your 6 arc?
I don't remember what he said he had.
My 20 practical.
He's got a 680. He's got a 6.284.
Okay, so
and he's got 4,000. I made fun of it. I only said he had 10 shots in his barrel life. Yeah. He said he's got 4,000.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, I had to go 20 practical with a 32 grain projectile to get 4,000 feet per second. Naming, I don't know. I think they should have called the 8.6 Blackout the 338 Blackout. Because I say 8.6 and people just look at me like, what?
Yeah. I don't know why he did that. I have speculation. He's a marketing guy. And I think that he wanted a big number. And I think when people think of 8.6, they may think that's a bigger number than 338 because 300 versus 338. Oh, it's only a little bit bigger. You know,
we're also doing metric now. You got 6 arc, 6.5 Creedmoor. Yeah. So
I think he did that for marketing purposes and to really make it stand out as something different.
6.284. That's crazy. So I didn't like it at first, but it's grown on me because if you say 8.6 Blackout, it gives you the chance to say, well, it needs to be AR-10 platform. Whereas if he had said 338, it would have been easy. I don't know. This is me just looking for answers. Maybe it'd be easier to say, oh, is that an AR-15 platform, a new one?
Yeah. I rarely come across, I mean, I shoot the thing twice a week at the range. Rarely come across anyone who's even heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what did... Okay, myself. I tried the 22 grill form of brass. Pain in the booty. Necking it down. Okay. Hey, Eagle Eye, while that reminds me. Okay, so I've been saying that I'm chopping my 6.5 Creedmoor brass and then resizing before I'm chopping and then resizing. Is there any advantage or disadvantage to resizing that whole neck and then chopping? Because in my tests and my lack of experience would maybe not know the difference. When you run that through your press, there's a lot of material that's got to be shrunk down or expanded, I mean, and then you chop it in the end. You're going to have to turn it either way. So it's not like it's saving a step. A couple of guys said, oh, you're saving a step. You're doing twice the work because you're chopping it and then resizing it. But I found that resizing is so much easier because there's barely any neck sticking out there. Is there a reason? Because when yeah. All
So
that has to be resized.
I didn't have any issues until this one's like super annealed, softer brass. But as I pushed, this is the first time I actually punched it down inside. This guy's way down in there. I was gonna try your idea of chopping first and then resizing to see if I could get away with it, away from this problem. But that S&B brass never did that. Anyhow, but yeah,
that's a rolled crimp that you've got going on there. You rolled it all the way down into the Hornady with 2020 ammo crunches. Identical partner than Q took over the naming rights. Okay,
that's good to know.
I think that's true, but Q invented the cartridge. I think. I wouldn't be surprised if Hornady steals it just like they did with the 6.8 military Q. When I said 8.6, I heard a guy the other day say 6.8. I didn't know they had those yet. And I'm like, no, 8.6. I had that mix up happen. Yeah, talking about it is a win-win. What I do is I just put the bullet in their hand and let that bullet do the talking. People who know when they see that bullet. I did a video making the 8.6 Blackout. I just resize and cut the brass in a lathe trimmer. I saw you do that, like you have with the drill attached to it. Takes literally 3 seconds to make the brass. So, just resize. So resize first and cut second. I found it's easier to cut first and resize second. That's what I found.
Looks like it takes less pressure on your
what up, Scott?
reloading press.
It's less work on my reloading press, and I also split a couple of cases when I was doing before I cut.
We got to call back to annealing with that one.
Okay, I need an annealer. I run my 6.5 into a 308 die into the blackout.
That helped.
Okay. I'm going to grab something real quick here. Hang on 1 second. You can, if you want to read through a couple of chats here, this reminds me of something.
Somebody was mentioning they do that with their, it doesn't let me select the next chat.
I should have made you, I should have shared it with you so you could be like an equal partner in that.
Gotcha.
I'm not going.
So yeah, the way I'm doing it is I have that, the Hornady trimmer and I have one old blade on it, and that's how I trim mine down to length. And then I pull out the neck trimmer to get the necks down to under 15 thousandths. Try to hit 12 or 13 thousandths.
Can't find what I'm looking for here. It should be more organized.
So a couple comments about resizing before cutting it, both on 8.6 and 300 Blackout. Full length size, not cut.
They probably say I'm doing it wrong.
I think they're just mentioning that you don't have a 308 die, so doing that step down. One thing I noticed on my Lee die was it literally got hot to the touch as I was reloading. I just did 20 cases, so there's a lot of energy transfer going on when you're necking that up. Eagle Eye, you don't anneal? Even on subsequent shootings?
I'm sure it does anneal.
So there's a comment from JP mentioning to turn the neck with Starline brass. It's only the Hornady. I found Peterson I don't have to trim, but my Lapua cases, my S&B cases, and I had one other brand. I don't remember what it was, but I had to trim all those.
Well, I measured my Starline, and based on the measurement, now I do not have one of those proper measuring things, but based on the measurement, I don't have to turn the neck of my.
Does it match the ones that I sent you that were turned?
Mm-hmm. Like almost exactly the ones that you turned.
So I had to grab my my calipers because the ones I sent you were supposed to be 10 thousandths in the neck. You were measuring 13. So I don't know if it's my calipers. I have an old set that I've been using.
Well, they make that little ball thing that you're supposed to stick them in, to measure it.
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
you're supposed to measure it with these, but that's all I have to go on. Okay, I can't find it. So the reason I left this up is because I bought a Hornady or a Lee 308 die set because my intention was to go from 6.5 to 308 to 8.6 Blackout. But I find that my 308 die did not. I think that the neck sizer in the middle, I don't think it was 308. I think it has the wrong one in it, and I was going to measure it, but I forgot. Okay, what did you want me to read? Chopping cheap, but I wish I knew it was 3D printed. Was that you that said that? It's a bit of a cheap and limited on adjustability. It works, but it could have been engineered better. So I think gosh, were you the one that said that in the comments, Nighthawk? Because I replied to you, and I bought it from a 3D guy on Etsy, and I knew it was 3D printed. I thought I said that in the video. I hope I did. I intended to, but the way I got mine set up as far as the left to right to get my case length where I wanted it, and I found chopping it right at the dimension. What is it? 164. I found chopping it right at the dimension and then running it through the press to neck it to 338. It made it it stretched just a little bit, and then I turned just a little. I felt like I had it dialed. I don't have a 308 gun, but I do have a 308 set, a cheap set of Lee 308 dies. Okay, $30. Yeah, the Lee sets are cheapos. I don't anneal. I use Hornady.
I did notice comments about LC or LC308. That was the other one I tried, and I did have to trim that one down. Ugly annealer, I just looked it up. It kind of looks similar to the annealies, maybe a little better engineered.
I
like my annealies.
On.
Yeah.
That's where you adjust the time of how slow it's turning based on how much you want it to.
Yeah.
I like how it turns it, fairly uniformly. And then, of course, the timer. It's a decent design. I haven't seen the.
Mine was my wheel isn't sticky enough. And I haven't figured out how to make it more sticky.
So your brass is skipping and it's not turning?
Yeah.
Put some grip tape in there.
Chance of
the ball
expander crushing.
If you cut the brass, it has a higher chance of the ball expander crushing the case in the neck. If you cut it first?
No. Yeah. I didn't.
But that's not what happened to you.
I think mine was just super annealed, and I crushed it.
Oh, it was just too soft. You're right. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to give that a try, though. Besides,
now,
anneal it all first.
From what I understand, the 308 stuff, you definitely got a neck turn because I think that brass is so thick. At least I haven't tried it yet. I have some I will experiment with, but I got to figure out how to do this right first.
Maybe I'll have to find a place to post it. But I did some water capacity across those 4 different cases I had. The LC, SMB, Lapua, Hornady, and Peterson. And it seemed like the Peterson was almost identical to the Hornady. The Lapua had a little less capacity, and the 308 was like the smallest capacity of all of them. I don't know if anybody else has done the water measurement, but that's kind of what I found. So
that would have to do with the thickness of the brass.
Yeah.
Some cool cat gave me 50 pieces of brass on a range visit. I found that people will give you brass. You just got to ask. My buddy AR Guns, he says his channel is AR Gun 1776. He says that whenever he goes to the range, he walks onto the little pad. And he's like, "I'm a reloader. I want your brass." And he goes, "People just bring it to him." He goes, "I just make a spectacle of myself and just yell and say, 'Bring me your brass.'" And he's like, "People just come over and bring me brass." He's like, "I don't even care what it is. He just takes everything." Range pickup. So he's been forming 308 range pickup to the 8.6. Good for you. I think he's probably having to turn it. Propane torch and deep socket drive is a annealer. 20 seconds cold works for me.
Did a bunch of looking into
Milwaukee and just spin it in your Milwaukee and just let her rip.
Not a bad idea. So quenching it, I looked into that debate, and it sounds like brass, because it's different than steel.
Yeah.
Quenching doesn't do anything for the annealing process.
Let it
Air
air cool. Yeah.
works fine. Yeah. Metallurgy.
The extra neck seems to be beneficial during the initial forming. Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong, guys. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the effort is worth it. Hornady and Winchester, I didn't have to trim. Oh, 308 Hornady and 308 Winchester, he didn't have to trim. Okay. Eagle Reloads is eligible for monetization. I have not decided to fill out the paperwork yet. That channel grew to 4,000 watch hours and almost 1,100 subs in 11 months. So thank you guys who are watching over on Eagle Reloads. Never intended to monetize that channel. I figured it'd stay around 300 to 600 subs forever, but it blew up, which is awesome. Lake City had a neck turn. Okay. I have a neck trimmer in my cart at Midway. Got my Midway hat on. Thinks MC would state that just they're probably a better. Okay, all ears. Good. Had to turn them. Well, okay. So, are we going? What sort of level of accuracy are we expecting out of this caliber? That's actually another topic. Because this is where the rabbit hole goes for me, and there's always one because. There's a concentricity gauge that you can see if your cases are actually perfectly round. And I appreciate you doing that. I don't know if I am, but I appreciate you doing that. I love it. I love that exists, and I love that people do it. I'm not there yet. So he found out the hard way about neck trimming, I think. Probably didn't fit. Red presses matter. Hornady guy. Lee's red.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone offer a case gauge yet? No, they do not. Not available yet. Or you can just buy a $300 8-inch and use that as your case gauge. That's not what I did, guys. If you're late to the stream, that is my new sub gun barrel.
I want to see a short with that where you drop one in there and you take your bolt. That'd make a good short. My new case gauge.
Okay, so what is he talking about? He's talking about the center nut bolt is sticking halfway up. Oh, you're talking about right there. Yeah, that is where my setup lands. And it works.
You don't hit it with your saw?
No.
Or the blade?
No, because the saw only goes down part way.
Because the jig holds it up higher.
Yeah. So it's not going to be. I did find that because let me put a case in there. I did find that when you have a case in there, like there is some play, and what that means is that your chop is not perfect, but the way I'm doing it, although listen, the way I did it didn't work. So when you turn it on the Hornady trimmer, you get it squared up. So I don't know. Again, what I did didn't work. That's one of the problems I'm having right now when I'm making videos on this is I want to get information out, but like I don't necessarily need to be the source of the information. Because I'm not the guy. I'm learning how to do this stuff. I'm sorry.
I have a comment to that. I've been thinking about that one. There's definitely, I don't know. When I was looking for reloading information, I really wish there would have been a channel, something like this, that had this kind of content that I could go and watch you through the thought process. Because I love watching the experts, and when you get to that expert level, that's exactly what you need to be looking at. But there's that intro to middle area where I don't know, what do I think about this? Do I want to chop first or chop after? Do I want to resize? Do I need to worry about bounce back? Do I need to what push the necks back a little farther on the very first resizing, and all that stuff is, I don't know, kind of
So I'm a useful
stuff
idiot.
you stumble across. Yeah. So I really like it.
I'm so thankful for all the veterans out here that just help me figure this stuff out. And you know, I mean, even like you were like, I'm gonna send this guy some brass. He needs some help.
Well, you said you couldn't find it, and then you found the Starline like the next week.
Yes.
I'm glad you found that.
Sometimes the videos, when they come out too, they're not perfectly timed with what's going on. Sometimes it takes me a while to get them approved and like all sorts of stuff. Okay. You didn't have to pull too many rounds down. Okay. He was talking to somebody else. 243. Ugly comes with spares and it's flawless. Pulled about 20. Okay. Here we go. He says, size first, cut second, always. Okay. But why? Why? That's what I want to know. I want to know why. I'm not questioning you because I think you probably know your stuff. But I mean, based on his comments in this thread, he clearly knows his stuff. But I guess I want to know why. I guess mostly used brass is super thick. It is thick. Thick brass go deep. That's gonna be. I need to make a T-shirt for that now. At least for me, if I annealed 6.5 crates before finishing, I had annealed case. Oh, he actually crushed some cases. Okay.
That's so what I saw that Peterson. My ones that had 3 or 4 firings on it, I didn't crush any of those, but the brand new that was fresh annealed. Ooh, we like those 270 ELDs. So back to your velocity question. What I had read was 1900 was kind of the lower limit of a lot of those, like the ELDX type bullet for expansion. There might be a little more space below it. So do you really want to shoot for that 2000? Is it possible to hit that and consistently stay above? Anybody know anything about that?
Yeah, he had to turn those down. I haven't found any that turned without neck turning. So in the summer, I bought 308 from Starline. They were the only ones who had it. And I bought 1,000 308 cases because I thought ultimately I could make Creedmoor. Ultimately, I can make 8.6. And then ultimately, I secretly want to build a 308 gun because I feel like I missed that. I'm going to like rewind to the 70s and get a 308 gun. I'm just kidding, guys. Sorry. So I wanted to, 40 cals in the house. Okay. So I felt like that was going to be the one. And so I got all those 308 cases. And it turns out that that's not the best one necessarily to make, but I can, and I will, and I'll show you eventually. I had 338 mandrel for, so I ordered, well, in my cart in Midway, I have the mandrel because it doesn't come with it for 338, and then I have a Hornady neck trimmer. It's like $140. I just need to press go on it. I looked at it this morning and didn't do it. It does not come with the 338 mandrel. And a lot of places are sold out of the 338 mandrel, like Amazon is sold out of the 338 mandrel. I'm getting sub MOA at every load. I'm not dealing with concentricity. Just get your seating right. Just get your primer seating right, too. Who was that? Oh, that was Steven. Okay, good. Case gauge. Yeah. I mean, I pulled that thing out of the box, and I knew exactly how long that barrel was. LOL. Sorry, guys. Cause the ego stage Robert. Oh my goodness. All right.
Oh, so there was another question you and I had when we were chatting the other night.
Okay.
Neck tension. So I had mentioned maybe with your bullets falling out that your neck tension wasn't enough. And the question came up, how do you adjust that? I know on my my dies that have the bushings, I can just get the next bushing size down. But on the lead press, I don't know if you have a way to do that. Does any of that have to do with the that little mandrel depth? Or do you get a separate mandrel? Is there a way to tighten that up, or is that what crimping takes care of? I'm still new to the crimping side of things.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm leaving this question up here because I want to come back to that. I talked about that a second ago. I think that the neck tension is supposed to be built into the case from when it's formed. But I don't have those are those the dies that are from these like really high-end manufacturers like Whitten and things like that. They have different mandrels that you can put in there to stack those, so you can adjust those in the forming. It's not a full-length resizer, it's just the neck and shoulder. A lot of those setups are $300 or $400 for dies. So maybe I would do that for Creedmoor because I'm interested in accuracy for Creedmoor, but I don't know that I would go that way in this one. I'm kind of thinking that this 8.6 gun for me is once components are a little more available and like some of the prices aren't as ridiculous, and I've got brass made that, like, if I have brass made, you're reloading this for, what, 70, 80, 90 cents a round. I mean,
Buck around.
Definitely under $1. What's that?
Oh, those 270 ELDX were 70 or 71 cents each.
Yeah. So I guess maybe 20, 30 cents in powder and a 10-cent primer. You're probably pretty much always going to be around $1 a round. Yeah.
At today's prices. Yeah.
At today's prices. Okay, so are you trimming to a final? Yes, I trimmed to that final. I went to that, and I actually went a little shorter, 8.60 on a couple of them. 1.860. And I set my chop saw up to the 1.865, and then when I so I chopped it 1.865, and then when I ran it through and formed it, it stretched a little bit, and then I trimmed it back down. That's what I did. But again, that didn't work. So, or at least it hasn't worked yet. Okay, just picked up a Faxon 12-inch for a build last night. Hey, did they have those in stock, or did you get those from someone else? Because I kind of wanted a 12-inch, but I went with the 8-inch just to be wild. Another question on a handguard.
So this is a 12-inch with an arrow handguard and an Arca rail and a 4-inch can pin welded. So
yeah.
So that's where it hits. It lands with your barrel
right there,
an inch back. So this can would actually fit inside, but because this can's got 5/8 24 threads instead of the, what is it, 18 by 1.5, had to put an adapter. That is until I just get another can and try to work the threads myself.
21st century mandrel to achieve the best neck nutrition. Oh, okay.
Yeah, those are awesome. I have it for my 6 ARC.
A lot of people are just using the Lee. How much were those things? Like 60, 70 bucks for some? Oh, were they not? Okay, they're cheap. I bought a Hornady set too that was like 3 times that amount. Lee dies have been given great results. Eagle needs to blow up his bush. Hey, Bending Ballistics. Oh. Nate has a Area 419 press.
I haven't used it yet. I keep using my Hornady lock and load.
You're going to encourage me with that Team Red.
Yep.
It's almost midnight here, and I got work in the morning. What the heck time is it? Yeah, it's almost 11 here. We probably should shut down. We've been going hard here. Reloading has become a passion. Every time I'm at the range and I'm talking about 8.6 Blackout, someone comes over and says, should I reload? I know I could save some money. I'm like, no, you won't save any money.
The money.
And it's a whole other hobby. So if you like shooting and you just want to shoot, then go buy your ammo and have a good time. He's built 7 of the 8.6 guns, a re-thread of that stupid M13. Just PSA.
On the barrel.
Faxon barrels. I found
the
Faxon barrels to be threaded off center of the bore a bit. No.
See, but you have a whole shop. See, I'm trying to get away with just a a tap and die set. So I'm thinking I could tap out my flash can, whereas I'm not comfortable using a die to fix the threads. How would you do that? Take it to a gun shop?
You'd have to send it to him.
There we go.
Prior to getting the jig, I would have Neil. Okay, good. Try something. Right. All right. What else am I missing here? Expansion is a different game. What is he saying? Expansion is a different game. 1 to 3 twists. In my test, I'm getting good expansion with gel. Out to 1400. I guess it just depends on the
coppers, though. Yeah.
Yeah. The LDX
That's true.
And the slower speed. Okay.
With the rotation, you get different energy in there.
Oh, he's listing all the rifles he needs to build. Yes. He's trying to get me a bolt gun from. He's trying to help me get hooked up with a couple companies to get like a bolt gun action. And
Which one?
There's
I
a
have my
company
eye on
called
a couple.
Pristine.
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
I'm giving you another thing to Google here. Technician.
See, I'm a fan of the preferred barrel Blake's barrels. I've got 4 of those on my guns now. They're sure not Portland barrels, but they're, I don't know, they outshoot me every day of the week. In the Pacific. Oh, wait. I want to see.
What was it?
Oh, the Mandrel.
This one? Yeah, the Mandrel.
So that's an expander mandrel though, right? Do they have any reduction? So if your tension's too loose?
Oh, right.
Because I have a couple of the mandrels for my 6.5 and my 6 arc. But I don't know if they make one that would reduce that tension. Okay, anyways. Through these.
Yeah, know we're about there.
That collet die's nice.
Yeah, so the hammer bullets I'm shooting, they're $80 for 50. Yeah, you can't shoot hammers or makers or any of those guys. They're all so expensive. $20 per mandrel. Lee never made a neck turner because the Lee collet die helps uniform. Okay. In a gas rifle, you always need to resize because of case. Yes. Recommend trimming to 08. No need to trim to max. Yeah, so that's what I went with. And I think I got that from Nito at AP 2020 Outdoors. He said 1680, and that's what I shot for when I turned down. Look, he uses Arca. Why doesn't he? Oh, you had an Arca rail on. Guys, I'm going to get there. I'm going to do it on the new stuff. I'm just not going to retrofit my old stuff.
Yeah, there's some pretty cheap. Odinworks has some pretty cheap Arca rail attachments.
Lee, call it. Okay, so what does he say? No, I have pristine action. Horrible machining marks. Plastic end cap. Dre no longer works there. Definitely not worth. That's the thing. $1,200. I can send you a private link in the video I sent Pristine on what I found. Oh. Okay. If Kenny's not into it, then I can't be into it. No, there is no 8.6 ammo available anywhere on the planet. We're looking at making our own. Occasionally, you'll see some subsonic stuff pop up from Gorilla, Discreet, and Callaway. Callaway Ballistics, I'm on their list, and every time I get a notification, I click on it, and it's gone. So I don't know if they're putting like 4 boxes up there at a time or what. But look at Callaway, get on their email list. Look at Gorilla, and look at Discreet Ballistics. Those are the only guys that are making it right now. Those of you that stayed here to the end, you guys are the real troopers. And I'm going to tell you something. Today and yesterday, both, I talked on the phone with a local Texas boutique. Let me take this off here. Just cutting off half my face. I talked on the phone today and yesterday with a local Texas guy. He has an ammo manufacturing company. Can't tell you any names. He is going to be making 8.6 supers and subs. He's figuring out the components and the tooling and everything right now. And when it's available, your boy Eagle Run is going to be testing it. So I'm going to get early access to it because I have a super and a sub gun. Well, not yet, but super and a sub gun. I will be able to test it and make some videos on. Oh, he said something about things. Oh, wait, I missed it.
I checked out
Mac
the
Bros makes a custom for $500 and it's hard to beat. Ooh, you can buy 3 of them. 3 of them for the same price.
$700 now. Yeah.
Rumor is Hornady. I've heard this as well, but I've also heard this that Hornady is not going to release it until Sammy Spec comes out. That was a deep drop in some of those podcasts that we were listening to, and you kind of have to dot some of your own I's and cross some of your own T's. But I don't think Hornady's going to release until Sammy is out. And if you think about like liabilities and things like that, it would make sense. What powder do you like? Well, we're using 1680 right now, but we're going to try some new stuff. Make sure you're subscribed. Here's let's finish up with this. Whenever Nate, because Nate does not have a YouTube channel, and so he told me that he is going to just kind of funnel some stuff to me. Right. He's going to funnel his information to me, and I'm going to share it with you. Again, I'm not the guy that has all the access. Like, I love that Nito's out there. Like, he can shoot chronos in his basement and like get one-shot tests and stuff. I got to go to a range and get chronos, and I can only go a couple days a week, anyway. So, whatever we get from Nate and whatever he's finding out, I'll be sharing with you. And we're also going to have, I've got 3 other guys, that are reloading 8.6 Blackout. They're going to be in some streams over the next couple of weeks, trying to get their schedules lined up to where we can come on here and spend. Nate and I we just talked for 2 hours, man. It doesn't.
I thought it was going to be 30 minutes.
I didn't have any idea
how
long it was going to be. I'm sorry. I think it's later where you are. No, it's not later. It's later where I am.
No, it's only 10 here.
Okay. Well, good for you. My wife went to bed at 8:30. I took the kids in at 8 o'clock. Wife went to bed at 8:30, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Go out to the garage and get fired up. Okay. All right. Well, you don't have any socials or anything that you're sharing anything on. So normally people are wanting to plug their stuff, but I appreciate you coming on. You and I have just been talking over the last couple of weeks. I feel like I've known him forever. He seems like a really good dude, and had a good time. Yeah, good time talking with you. So I guess
thanks for having me on. It's been really fun doing this, and I really appreciate all the comments. I'm glad that you organize this and do all the hard work behind the scenes making the videos. So keep it up.
The chat was good tonight. I love sharing the information. Absolutely love it. I think it's great. So I'm just gonna keep doing this because I feel like 8.6 Blackout is worth it. I want it to make it. I feel like it probably already has made it. As many freaking barrels as Faxon has sold, I feel like it's made it.
Let me give you one update. So I sent an email to Faxon about my barrel after I had it jammed up.
Oh yeah.
And he took a couple of weeks to respond. It turns out that there's only one sales guy doing the 8.6 Blackout stuff, and they just are pushing them out as fast as they can. So he's like, we are just always out of inventory, trying to get them out there.
So I would love to hear some speculation on some numbers, but where it is right now is that Faxon was the only source for barrels, but now we're seeing all these smaller companies coming on saying that they're making barrels. We're seeing, on the Facebook group, there's 3 or 4 different companies that are on there selling barrels just to the Facebook group, which I think is cool. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right. Good night, MC. Good night, Eagle Eye. Thank you, sir. Appreciate him being on. I might just need to get Eagle Eye on here too. I don't know if he would come on my channel, but
that'd be my one comment. It's been fun having 2 people on here because then you can read the chat and there's a little banter.
Yeah.
So if you get some of these other guys on here, that'd be awesome. Especially if they're talking about how deep your primers are.
And how big my barrel is. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We'll sign off here. If you have questions, if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and leave them in the chat. We'll respond. Good community of people here around this caliber, and I love it. So, all right. That is it, guys. If you want to hang out here for a second, Nate, I'll sign off with you here. And Eagle Run 2-3. We'll see you next time.